Hello you guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. This is Grace and today I'll be showing my AP drawing portfolio. My AP score came out like a week ago and I'm so grateful that I got a 5 on it. I took AP drawing this year and I also took AP 2D design last year and I made a video about that as well, so if you guys are wanting to take AP 2D you might want to check out that video. It's in the description box. But today this video will be talking about AP drawing specifically, so let's get into it. AP drawing, same as any other AP studio art. It's separated into two parts. First part is called sustained investigation, and it requires 15 images surrounding the same inquiry question that guides you throughout the portfolio. And the second half is called selected works, which is 5 of the works that you think most demonstrate your ability. So I'll be sharing about my sustained investigation first. And that comes with 2 written response that you have to basically write a little paragraph about. It's not a lot at all. Like, it's really easy. So for the first little chunk of words, you have to identify the inquiry that guided your sustained investigation. And this is my response. If you guys are wondering, you can pause and read it. It's basically talking about my sustained investigation portfolio. We focus on the theme of happiness. The second question that you'll have to answer through your written response is describe ways your sustained investigation developed through practice, experimentation, and revision. And here is my written response. Alright, let's move on to the artworks. This is the first image, but this is not the first piece that I made throughout the years. Actually, I think it's actually my last piece that I made. This is a colored pencil on paper. I really like the color I used, and later on I will show you guys a lot other piece that I used the same color palette. And this is the second piece. This is just like a process for my third piece. So within the 15 images that you're gonna enter for sustained investigation, you want to use some of them to show your practice, experimentation, and revision. It is talking about friendship, and obviously friendship ties into the theme of happiness, so I just wanted to add it in. I also showed like experimentation through color scheme, and I also like tried to start another. I'm drawing down here and did not work at the end. So there's times where you can try a few things around throughout the process and like find what you really want to focus on. So this is image 3, which is the piece that last image was talking about. This is like one of my favorite because even though the technique in this one is so bad, it's just not detailed enough, but I really liked the idea of it. So it's basically like a memory bubble, and I wanted to like keep everything inside. Like, I didn't want to forget about it. The goldfish on the bottom right is like basically me looking back at these memories and just did not want to forget it. Okay, next image. This is like a very last minute piece that I did for me and one of my best friends. It's literally just a drawing of us. There's nothing special about it except I played around with the color a little bit. Yeah, I was running out of piece and that's why I turned this one in. Okay, the next piece, I used acrylic for background and for the clothing, and I used color pencil for the face. And this is basically a portrait of my grandparents when they visited Canada like last summer, I'm pretty sure. I just made this piece. It's like a moment where they feel happy and I just want to record that. And I also gave the drawing to them. So, okay, the next piece is another gift. One of my teacher, he was getting married. So I was like, you know what? This sounds like a very happy moment and I want to just record it to put it in my happiness portfolio and also just give him as a gift because dude is getting married. That's awesome, right? This is an oil paint on canvas. This one, like, really, I don't know. I feel like it showed my technique a little better because portraits are just easy to show that you have the technique. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is not that impressive as well. Okay, next, ta-da! This is really a last minute. So basically what happened is that I finished the face a long time ago. Like, it's probably my first work of the whole portfolio, but just the face. And I was like, I have no idea what to do with the rest. And it was like originally in the huge canvas and I just had the face in the middle and it was like creeping me out. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna give up on that piece. So I left it aside. But then, again, a week before or something that the portfolio was due, I was like, I need another piece. I think I had 10 painting or drawing in total and I feel like I still needed one more. So I was like looking at this painting with just my face in the middle. I was like, I could probably do something with it. And so I added all the bubbles, the watery, whatever it was, very last minute. I didn't even know what it meant, to be honest, because it was just so random. And this is another kind of like my thought process. So I was just thinking about the question whether happiness can only be shown through facial expressions, because all the portraits that I tried to like show happiness, they're like smiling, they're, you know, showing happiness. I was just wondering, can I express happiness without using that facial expression? So I created this beautiful piece. This is probably one of my favorite for one of my best friend as well. And this is the piece. Ta-da! It is gorgeous. Like, she gave me this reference photo and I added all the elements of like flower, I changed her dress, and I also feel like it showed that, I don't know, that happiness of knowing your identity and just being able to feel pretty and feel the best. The next piece is this, about myself. I really liked it. I just love the color. I loved the feel of the fabric. Yeah, and I also love the red background. Honestly, these are probably my favorite pieces. It's like a series of work where I just focused on the beautiful moments in life that brought me happiness. The first one is this. I loved the colors. I don't know, it's so unusual. I never tried anything like that, but it turned out so cool, at least in my opinion. I think it was just such a cute moment that I want to record, and so I used a lot of different colors to try to illustrate that. Okay, next piece is this. Saturated, cool colors come up again. I remember the reference photo for this one is this. So I took it when I was going out for like a dessert or something with my auntie. So I was like, this looks really cute. I want to like turn it into the cool color scheme that I was using. Also, this is a color pencil on paper. Okay, last one. This is my last piece for the Say Investigation section for the portfolio. And this is just my desk. Honestly, you guys can see it right now. This is my desk. I really liked how I decorated my desk, so I just wanted to paint it because it's so aesthetic. And I turned out to use some very bright and dreamy colors. That is it for my sustained investigation section of the portfolio. Now let's move on to selected works. As I mentioned earlier in the video, you need 5 works that most demonstrate your ability. These works can be pulled from your sustained investigation, so you don't have to actually make 20 work for the whole portfolio. Like for me, I think I only made like 13 total. And for my selected works, I pulled 4 works from my sustained investigation to my selected work portfolio. And so it was like a little bit repetitive, but I have one that's new. So this is the first piece. This is a new one. So this work is actually talking about, what was it? It was like a novel or like a short story that I read for English class, and we have to like make an art project for it. And so I just painted it. It doesn't have a lot of deep meanings. I basically painted what the short story was talking about. I can't exactly remember what it is. It was very creative, so I entered it in for my selected works. Work 2 for a selected work is this, and it is part of my sustained investigation.
I feel like I didn't talk a lot about this piece earlier in the video, but it's basically me wearing traditional clothing from my mom's hometown. We went back to China last summer and we did this photo shoot of us just wearing this clothes, and I named this piece Whisper from History, only because I was entering for a contest, though you don't have to name any of your AP works. But anyways, and it's just basically showing me knowing my heritage and feeling great. I guess a link to the theme of happiness, that's why I put it in.
And yeah, work 3 is this. Again, it was in my sustained investigation. I just thought like the color was used really well here, so I wanted to demonstrate that. Work 4 is this. So like a lot of my friends chose this piece for me to enter it in for selected works because they think apparently it demonstrates a lot of skills and like details, I guess. And then work 5 is this. Yeah, again, I just think that it really showed my ability to play around with colors and just being creative. So yeah, that is everything of my AP drawing portfolio. And right now I'm going to talk about some tips on how to get a 5 on AP art. First, go through YouTube videos. It kind of gives you an idea what kind of works College Board are looking for. And from my experience, what I focus on, it has to be special in some way. For example, if all of my piece from this portfolio is a portrait, I might not get that high even if I did that portrait really well. I think they really value creativity, so just make sure that you add a lot of creative elements into your pieces instead of just taking a reference photo and copy exactly what's on the reference photo. And another thing is that you want to show a range of your skills. For example, in my portfolio, I used a lot of different materials to create my pieces. For example, I used color pencil for a lot of them. I use oil painting, I use acrylic painting, and sometimes mix acrylic painting with color pencil, showing them that you are capable of using a lot. And another thing I want to really mention is that for your thought process, I think that is really important because one of the criteria, like how well you practiced throughout the process, like how you experiment, revised, stuff like that, and you really want to demonstrate that with something like these, right? I finished all three of them like the last 2 days before the portfolio was due. But you can start it with that. That gives you a more clear thought process on how to create a work. Or you can also just create a work and then go back to it and just like make it clear in your mind and put them down on like paper. And you can use like anything for this. You can use, for example, this year I used Procreate to just add a lot of photos because that's like easier to add photos. But last year for my 2D portfolio, I used like actual paper and I just printed out photos and I put them on there. And what I would recommend is that you include idea, process, experimentation, anything you can think of, or like your inspirations, you can add them on there as well. And also like play around with art, to be honest, just like have fun with it because you can do so much with the materials that you are given, right? Oh, and make sure that you read through the rubric because it could change from year to year. I don't think it have changed, at least I hope not, but make sure you read through the rubric. And you can also go on College Board website to search up the AP art galleries. It just shows works from the past students. You see what 5 portfolio look like, what a 4 look like, what 3 look like. And they also give you like very detailed description of what they are looking for. And last thing, start early with your portfolio. I always started like the summer before, so I have all from July to September to like kind of know what I'm doing. If you're doing this by yourself, especially, you want to like start ahead of time just in case there's something that's changed in the policy that you didn't know about. And you also have to evaluate if you're not taking it at school, like how will you have the time to make the project, make those works, and also like after you finish your portfolio, ask other people that like those artsy people that you know around you and just ask for their opinions, especially like when you're picking your works for the selected works. You want to ask people around you because they sometimes have a different insight on what most show your ability. So anyways, this is the end of the video and I hope you guys found this video helpful. And for those of you who are preparing for AP Art Portfolio next year, best luck and I'll see you guys next time.